Feeling stuck or unfulfilled? Searching for more meaning in your work and life? Wondering what's next? You're not alone, and you're in the right place. This is Focus on Why, the podcast that turns reflection into action. I'm Amy Rowlandson, and each week I dive deep with guests who've chosen to live and work with purpose. Together we explore what drives them, shapes their decisions, and gives their life meaning. Through real stories and honest conversations, you'll discover how to gain clarity, make confident choices, and create a life that truly matters. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why. Before we dive in, do you need help creating a more purposeful way of life? Through one-to-one coaching, I can help you clarify your why and create a plan that aligns your values with your work. Book a free 30-minute discovery call with me today. The booking link is in the show notes. Today on Focus on Why, I am joined by Randi Halaway. Randi, hello. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure. And we have a thank you to Joel Salomon, for the introduction. So thank you, Joel. Let's get started on what is it that you're focusing on right now?
Well, currently I am doing some reflection on the year and just really looking at what did I learn this year? What am I grateful for? What is it within inside of myself that I'm ready to let go of as I kind of go into a new version of me? So that's usually what I like to do. I actually do this throughout the whole year. It's something that's really important to me where I'm like really checking in. It's like, okay, we've been going, we've been doing, we've been creating, doing all the things in business and in life. And it's a process of slowing down and really checking in with self. And it's like, okay, let's take some breaths. Let's really look at what have we been learning? What are we ready to let go of? What are we grateful for? What do we want more of? What are we stepping into next? And it just feels like a really nurturing, honoring process to go through. And then it helps me to kind of regulate my system more and get more clarity on like what's my next level. And so that's the process I'm in right now.
So, for context, we are recording this at the end of 2025, and it just helps to understand why now that you'll be doing that, as opposed to when someone might be listening to this at whatever point they're listening to. But with the knowledge that you also do this as a regular reflection and understanding what it is that, as you said, your learnings, the gratitude, letting go of, having more of, what is it that has instigated this process for it to now be something that is more of a habit than not?
Yeah. So there was a time when I didn't take time for myself. I didn't make myself a priority. I was more, committed to the doing, the to-do list, the hustle, the going, the achievements, the productivity, I'm air quoting. And what I learned through those seasons is the more that I pushed, the more that I rushed, the more that I forced and went, it started to really deregulate my nervous system. And probably one of the bigger lessons that I've learned in my years and through the experiences that I've had is that my outer world is a reflection of my inner world. And so as I started learning that lesson the hard way by having some like more painful experiences happen in the outer world, whether that was with business or relationships, things like that, I started to kind of like zoom out and be like, huh, I'm seeing some patterning here. I wonder if it's not so much about what's going on outwardly that's the issue. If I was to slow down more and to go within and to kind of clean up and hear more, if that could be helpful. And so that's what I started doing, taking that time for myself, learning how to make myself a priority, learning how to breathe, do self care, regulate my nervous system, reflect, really check in. How am I feeling? What do I need? What am I ready to let go of? As humans, we're constantly letting go and opening up. And especially if we're intentional about it, we can really, you know, go in and actually let go of the things. If we're willing to be intentional and reflect, we can actually start to let go of the things that are no longer serving us. I think a part of what happens with people, myself included in the past, and I can still do this sometimes, is we're getting the sign that it's time to let go of something, but we're like, no, I'm comfortable with that something, I'm not letting it go, right? So we hold on to it for dear life, we hold on for dear life, and then the sign gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and then all of a sudden maybe it gets torn out of our life, or something bigger has to happen for us to realize, like, oh geez, I probably could have let go of that sooner. And so that started to happen. I was like, wow, what if I actually like surrendered to this process and intentionally reflected and intentionally took care of my system and intentionally started to let go of what was no longer serving? And what I noticed is when I did that, there would be more flow, my system was more relaxed, and then again, I'm more grounded, I'm more rooted, I'm more calm within, and then naturally the reflection now changes. So maybe I was attracting more chaotic things before because I was more chaotic inside, but now that I'm more calm inside, I naturally start attracting more calm outwardly. And I was like, oh, got it. This is a big one. And so, yes, I do this process every year, and I teach that to my clients, but I also do it throughout the year. So it doesn't really matter like what time of year it is. Like, what would be possible in your life if you did this every month? What could be possible if you were that intentional, if you reflected that much, if you showed up for yourself that much? For me, it's been life changing. So that's why I do it.
And when you say life changing, what do you mean?
Well, kind of going back to what I said of, again, it's all reflection. So people say often, I want more money, I want a really great partner, I want to have freedom, I want to have abundance. So that's all great to have those goals and those, intentions or manifestations. But at the end of the day, your nervous system is what runs the show. So, and how you know what's going on with your nervous system is really true. You just look at your results. So, if anyone who's listening right now, if you just take a moment, there's no judgment, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just putting light on it for the purpose of healing it. It's like, well, what are my outward results right now? Are they chaotic? Are they like dramatic? Is it hard, or are they in flow? Is there a lot of joy and peace? And that's what you want to start to be aware of. And so when you realize, again, going back to this simple universal law that it's all reflection, whatever's going on inside is a reflection of outside, and whatever's going on outside is a reflection of inside, meaning I have the power to change my inside, which will ultimately change my outside. That's the life-changing piece. So when I start to make calm, peace, nervous system regulation, self-care, myself a priority, it changes my whole system, which means I'm like sitting more in actual peace and actual abundance, because my nervous system, again, is what's running the show. So what changes, why it's life changing, is all of a sudden I'm getting more peace. I'm getting more abundance. I'm getting more magic. I'm getting more opportunities, miracles in my life based on the reflection. And that's, at least for me, the life changing piece.
Yeah, I love it. And this nervous system, explain what you mean by regulating and deregulating the nervous system.
Yeah. So again, one way you can tell if your nervous system is regulated or deregulated is just take a second and feel into your body. Do you feel anxious? Do you feel tight? Are your shoulders high? What's going on in your body? When was the last time you took a deep breath? When was the last time you took a breath at all? A lot of times people don't even realize they're going a long time without even taking a breath, which sounds wild, right? It's like we need to breathe to live. But this is what happens. Our system gets so chaotic. We have so much fear. We have so much chaos. We have so much to-do list. We have so much to do. We have all this pressure, right? And so what that does, if it's not released and it's not cared for with intention and responsibility, it gets stored in your system. Our whole body is a nervous system made up of energy and frequency and all these types of things. And so that's kind of what starts to happen, is like we start to feel anxious. We maybe aren't sleeping. We're feeling overwhelmed. Things that are going on in our life all of a sudden feel really big. And it's not that maybe they're not big, but they feel really big and really extra, right? And so that's an example of a deregulated nervous system, really reactive. A regulated nervous system is going to just be calm, grounded, relaxed. You're connected to your breath. Your breath is connected in and out, right? This is going to be more, you're more responsive from this place because you're more relaxed. There's a part of you that's in your body that's saying, you know what? Yes, there's things going on in my life, but I trust that I'm safe. When you're deregulated, it's the opposite. It's more like, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe. So now I'm, kind of doing this thing trying to get safe. And so what's happening is the ego, we all have an ego and it's hardwired to protect us. It's trying to convince us that our safety is outside of us. And this is a big part of what deregulates the nervous system. As long as I'm looking outwardly for my safety, I'm going to be kind of in chaos, trying to find it, trying to find it, trying to get it. And that's usually a big reason why people start to get deregulated, because they start to believe that the safety is outside of them. They need to get it all validated outwardly. When you start to pull out from some of those chaotic patterns and again start to breathe and connect more to what I call your heart space, this is when you start to remember, like, oh yeah, like, A, I'm really powerful. B, I'm safe within. No matter what's happening in my outward world, I still have me, which means now I'm free. I'm no longer a puppet on someone else's or something else's or my bank account's string. And so this is where everything shifts. So now it's like just all the pressure of like the human experience comes off, like, oh my gosh, I don't have to hustle so much. I don't have to try so hard. It doesn't have to be so hard. I'm already safe. I'm already loved. I'm already worthy with inside of myself. Wow. Okay. And now the system starts to relax. This is the life changing piece because, the biggest reward, imagine a life where you're relaxed. Imagine a life where you know within that no matter what, you're safe, you're already loved, you're already worthy. It's not a job every day to get up and try to do everything in your outer world in order to get validated. You know how to validate yourself. Again, to me, that's true freedom. But then the reward, the deeper reward that keeps it again is like it's all a reflection. So if I'm already knowing I'm safe, I'm loved, I'm abundant, I'm magic, then that's the stuff that starts to show up. That's what makes life more fun. Not necessarily because everything's figured out and there's no challenge or triggers or fear or hard moments. Like, this is planet Earth. We are going to have those things. It has more to do with your ability to regulate, to ground, and to respond versus react to whatever comes your way. So challenges are coming no matter what. We came here to grow, we grow through challenge. But if my system is deregulated and I'm letting my ego run the show and I'm constantly trying to get all this outward stuff, I'm going to be more reactive, which causes more reactivity in my world. But if I'm remembering, like, oh my gosh, I'm safe, I can regulate, I can be calm in my body, I can respond, then I start to attract more responsive results. So we're creating in every single moment, whether we realize it or not. As humans, we are beyond powerful. We are powerful beyond measure. And the reality is you're creating from one of two places: fear, lack, chaos, ego, victim, reactivity, or love, truth, abundance, your heart, your intuition, your power. Wherever you're choosing to create from, and it is your choice, will determine your results. And that's the simplicity of it. And that's the piece around why it's life changing and what's going on within the system. Most people, what they're doing is they're vacillating between both all day long. So the idea here is that, you learn that this is even happening with this fear or reactivity piece. You learn that you have the power to go into more of a responsive, empowered place, and then you play with it throughout your day. You notice it. And the more you can live over here in this heart-centered place, the more you get those heart-centered results.
I hear you, and I subscribe to this understanding because it is so liberating when you understand the difference, right?
Very.
And for me, part of this puzzle of understanding that you are in control of this choice is purpose, the purpose piece, and that you create and feel that from within. You don't find it externally, which is often the myth that people are pursuing purpose and they're so how do I find my why? How do I find my purpose? And I'm like, you don't, you create it and you feel it from within.
Yeah.
So, where is your stance on purpose within your work, Randy?
Yeah, it's a great question. So a lot of people over the years have come to me wanting to find their purpose. So similar to what you're saying, I think that's probably one of the more common things that people are looking for because there's an idea that if I could just find my purpose, I could feel relaxed finally. That's really what it goes down to, right? It's like I'm so anxious. I feel like I'm not good enough. I feel like I'm not contributing. I feel like I have no purpose, which means like I'm just not good enough. And I sit here and I'm just riddled with anxiety. And if I could just find it, or if I could just get the relationship or the ring or the baby or the waistline or the likes on Instagram, then I would finally feel this peace. And so it kind of this piggybacks on what I was just sharing. It's like the peace is already within, it's not outwardly. And so is the purpose. So every single one of us does have a purpose, I believe. It's just if you're looking for it outwardly, if you're searching for it outwardly, you're going to be looking for a very long time. If you're willing to slow down and do what it is that I'm speaking about here, go within, learn how to make yourself a priority, learn how to practice self-care, learn how to love yourself, learn how to connect with your heart, to your intuition, breathe, get into your body. And that's going to require learning how to feel your feelings, which is a whole other topic. It's partly why we don't want to go in our body, because what if you had to feel something uncomfortable? And the mind is convincing us that it's not safe to do that, with which nothing could be further from the truth. As humans, we are natural born feelers. And when we push it down, we cause more what I call unnecessary pain. When we learn how to express and release and feel, that's what helps us to become free. That's what actually connects you to your highest self, to your intuition, to all of the guidance and the clarity and the answers you're looking for exist within inside, along with your purpose. It exists here in your heart. So when people come to me and they ask me to help them find their purpose, which I've helped a lot of people do that, I'm not necessarily like strategically helping them find something. Now, I also do strategic work, but we do it more from inspired action versus forced action because we do the work of getting into your heart first. If you are coming more from, I have to do it, I have to do it, I have to get it, this is forced action. So, again, just to simplify it, forced action creates forced results. So, if you're frustrated with your life right now, just check in. Am I forcing? If I am, hey, there's no judgment. It's just like celebrate the awareness because once you're aware of it, you can now change it, right? Then start to remember, like, okay, maybe if I started to slow down and I got more connected to my heart, to my truth, to my intuition, maybe that's where my answers are. That's where my purpose lies. And your purpose could be as simple as, like, my purpose is to sit by the ocean and paint. My purpose is to go give people hugs. My purpose is to be a mother. It doesn't have to be complex. It doesn't have to be my purpose is to help 1 billion people in the world. It could be, and that's great too. The reality is, like, it's the mind that puts the meaning on what's a good purpose and a not a good purpose, or a powerful purpose or a not powerful purpose. They're all powerful, right? And so the idea is to start to remember that you have what it is you're looking for outwardly within: the purpose, the peace, the love, the safety, the security. All of those things exist within inside of you. So, for anyone listening, just like take a minute, even a couple seconds, and it's like, what would be possible in your life if you started to feel into what I'm speaking about right now? What would be possible in your life if you knew that you had everything inside of you versus trying so hard to go get it outside of you? What if you could connect deeper into who you really are and accept whatever it is that your purpose is? And by the way, your purpose can be fluid, it can change at any time. To connect that inner peace, that inner love, and then start to take inspired action in your life versus forced. How would that change your life?
Can you remember, Randy, when you first adopted this philosophy? Was it over a period of time that you came to this, or was it a teaching epiphany? What, how?
Yeah, so my story is a little unique. I was raised by a coach, a speaker, and author. So I've been in this space my entire life. So I understood these teachings pretty well into my 20s. I had a pretty tough childhood, and it was probably in my early 20s I realized that I had some big, deeper work to do. I was kind of angry. I was projecting. I was pushing people away. And it was at 24, so 20 years ago, that I fully committed to my personal growth and I started to really work on myself. So I went to seminars. I always had a mentor. I had a coach every week. And I just started the process. So I started to, again, understand this well. And I started to make a lot of big strides throughout my life. I then built a really successful business doing hair when I lived in Las Vegas. I then moved to San Diego, built another one here, I then opened a salon and had, a salon with 20 plus employees, which was also a big life teacher for me. And then I sold it, which was also, there's been a lot of life experiences. The one that really, really sort of catapulted and solidified this for me was in my mid 30s. I got married for a second time, and I was only married for 4 months. And that experience just fully and completely cracked open my heart. It was extremely challenging, but it gave me an opportunity to really start to look within. I knew at the time, I was like, wow, I have like a lot of content to go like really like far down the victim path here. I was like, but I don't think that's the point. And so what I realized at the time is I was like, wow, like I really understand this work intellectually so well. I could have written a book about it 10 years ago. But what I was missing was this piece of going inward, of integrating, of going, being in my body, of feeling my feelings. And that was the game changer for me. That was the part of me that was like, I was like, oh my gosh, I was still letting my fear make my choices for me. I was still letting a lot of self abandonment and self sacrifice sort of step in because those were old patternings from childhood things and all of that. And so I fully trust that that experience was for me and it helped me to see this. Because if I didn't see it, I'd still be playing all those things out. And so I truly trust and I'm grateful for it now. I mean, I'm not trying to relive that. I've learned the lesson and I'm grateful for that. But oftentimes we will attract these experiences as a way to help us see, not to punish us, but to see, to just to wake up because the awareness is the power. If I can't see the patterning, if I can't see what I'm doing, I can't change it. And so while this was extremely painful, it woke me up. And that's when this really started to entrain. This was about 7, 8 years ago. So and then I really started to integrate, and that's how so now I had sold my salon. I'm just starting my like full, I've been coaching the whole time, but I was really starting that. So I had more space. And so I finally started to slow down, breathe, journal, meditate, visualize, and my channel started to open. My heart started to open, and I actually started to create a process that it really helps you heal from your trauma, understand your limiting beliefs, understand your ego patterns, your chaotic based patterns, pull out of that and actually start to get into your body and feel your feelings. And just again, just a side tab, feeling our feelings is not as scary as the mind wants to make it. It's actually the most liberating thing you'll ever learn how to do as a human. And so I started practicing that. And that's when I like naturally started like coming into these places where I was like, wow, I'm like so powerful. Like, oh my gosh. I'm like, have I been this way the whole time? So I'm having these experiences and I'm like, wow. And that's when I started to really tap into like, it's all within. It's all within. And so I've been practicing that daily since. And this is what I teach people now. This is what I help people with in my one-on-one coaching and in my membership and speaking and workshops and things like that as a way to help people just remember what's really true about who they are. And that is that you are powerful beyond measure and everything you're looking for exists within inside of you. And when you really get that, you are now free.
And when you said just then, Randy, that this experience cracked open your heart and you were able to look within. I mean, the metaphor there of the visual image is just so powerful of what it took for you to move from being like a head on a stick to being a full person and
Yeah.
actually waking up to go, oh, there's a rest of the body here and there's lots of other things going on, to finally feel the rhythm of the heart and what you're capable of achieving. When I first asked you about the right at the beginning, you said you'd know about because of the results. And my mind took me straight into, oh, well, it will be the metrics. And your metrics were very clearly really lovely ones. They were the miracles, the joy, the peace, the being in flow, the magic. They weren't amounts of money or the physical results. These
Yeah.
were feelings and
Yeah. Chills.
yeah, chills. Tell me, did you just get chills then, or were you? Yeah,
I get chills, yeah, because it's so true. It's like
right,
divine truth.
right. Tap into the tingle is an exercise I have when you get the goosebumps, chills, whatever, however you want to describe it. Tell me, what was you said it was truth, but what is it that you elicited those goosebumps for you?
Because the thing that we're really looking, it's never about what it looks like it's about. A lot of times it's the mind that's saying, gosh, if I could just make $1 million, if I could just get married, if I could just have the baby, if I could just lose 20 pounds, if I could just, right? And so that was part of the process that I had to go through. So going back to when we started this conversation, when I said this practice around reflection. So how I started to get to this place is I've done a lot of reflection. That's why I do it all year. I don't just do it at the end of the year or just at the beginning of the year. I do it. This is why I do it consistently, because the more consistently I do it, the more I get to look at what's old and what's, what I need to let go of. So it doesn't mean that I don't have life goals or life intentions for myself. But what started to happen over time, the more I started to reflect, I was like I've had two marriages, I've had two big rings, I've had houses, I've had three multiple six-figure businesses. I have beauty, I have these things, but I don't think that's what I'm really looking for necessarily. And over time, I started to finally see it's like you're looking for a feeling. You're looking for an essence. You're looking for, at the end of the day, one of the things that really changed my life was, I believe it was 2 years ago. So again, I was doing my reflection, and I always am setting intentions. I do it about once a month, but it was the beginning of the year. And I was like, it was the first year that my intention had more to do with a feeling than a thing. And my intention was to access inner peace and freedom. And I just focused on it the whole year. And I was able to tap into a level of that I didn't even know was possible. Now, this, I always say, I always like to remind this of just to be clear, I'm still human. I still have stuff. I still have ups and downs. I still fall down. I have to get back up. The difference is that I'm really committed to catching the fall and getting back up quicker than I ever have. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with being human. So, but what started to happen is I started to access these levels of inner peace that I was like, oh, I mean, I had an idea that this is what I wanted, but I didn't even know. So here's the thing, the reason why it's about the inner essence feeling more than anything else is because, again, you can attract all the things. The thing is, we are powerful. Every single one of you can manifest whatever you want whenever you want. Just so you know, that's literally how powerful you are. The question is that what's doing the job for you? Is that what's giving you the fulfillment, the love, the excitement, the inspiration, all those things? And listen, of course, having a beautiful relationship, a family, a business, impact, finances, those are all beautiful things. I'm not saying that they're not. It's just at the end of the day, what we're really looking for is the inner peace and freedom. So what I realized is that's kind of the hack to living the life of your dreams. Instead of going through this long laundry list of all the things you have to attract and manifest in order to feel good enough and loved and all those things, just go within and start accessing it. And so now it doesn't really matter what comes, what goes, what is manifested, what's not. Because at the end of the day, we're going to experience what we're meant to experience anyway. Again, we came here to grow and heal. So that's the real freedom. And again, going back to when we talk about the life of our dreams, the life of our dreams isn't necessarily because we accomplished a list. It's because we're actually in peace with ourself, which means we can actually be present, which means you can actually enjoy your life. Because if you're not present, you're not even conscious. So I know there's studies of older people who on their deathbed, they're talking about what do you regret most? And usually it has to do with, I wasn't present. If you're not present, you can barely remember. So that's what this process does. If my intention is to be in my body, my intention is nervous system regulation, my intention is inner peace and freedom and to feel magic and to feel love, then I'm here, I'm looking around. And then what happens is I'm more open, I'm more magnetic, I'm more receptive to all of the magic and abundance that, by the way, is available to every single one of us. Not just me, not just Amy, not just whoever is having this conversation. It's available to every single one of us. The question is, have you slowed down enough and created space to receive it?
Yeah, it is so true. For you, Randy, what does freedom mean?
It really is a sense of peace within at the core. I could probably make a list of longer things, but the simplicity is, to me, if I am connected to myself, I'm remembering who I am, I have peace within, love within, remembering that I'm already safe, I'm free. Because now I've got me. I can navigate, I can respond, I can, I can actually be in this life experience. It's the best feeling I've ever felt. And I felt a lot of experiences in this life. I've lived a lot of life in my 44 years. So
Yeah, well, I didn't know that that was your age. I wouldn't have guessed from how you present yourself. And here I am just turning in, well, I'm now 51, so I'm loving this next decade. And my goodness, the 40s were great, but you wait, 50s are even better because with all these insights that we have in personal development, it just
yeah.
gets better. It really does. The reason I asked about what freedom means to you is because I've often found that it comes with something. It's never independently spoken about. And you've linked it with inner peace several times. And this is the thing is that, with freedom, it's freedom to, or freedom from, or freedom with. And this is the conversation I have with people on the show is that their understanding of freedom is that it's freedom to create, or freedom and love, freedom and choice, freedom and flexibility. And here you are, freedom and inner peace, inseparable. They're together.
No one can take that away from you.
No.
Say, like, the relationship with yourself. This is why I'm such an advocate for helping people become their own best friend. Really invest in themselves, make themselves the highest priority, because the relationship you have with yourself is the only one that can never be taken away. It's the only one that will really fully, we know for sure, can last a lifetime.
Mm. Yeah, no, I hear you. And this is the voice of Frankel. It's the last of the emotional freedoms. That it is you have your own space and you get to choose how you live that out. And it is so key. I'm with you. What is it that you will be in terms of, you said you're sort of stepping into this new version of you and mentioned that you're going to let go of things that you are going to maybe have more of. What do you already foresee as being making space for and leaving out?
I'm going to pause that really quick. And this is actually going to tie in, but lastly, with what we were just talking about, the more connected we are to ourselves, the more connected we are to our peace and to loving ourselves and making ourselves a priority. This is where our truest discernment lies. Meaning, this is where you get to now start making high level, honoring decisions for your life and for yourself, because you're making decisions also all day long. And so it's like, where are you making them from? From self abandonment, from fear, from chaos, from I gotta go, or from like, I know who I am, I'm solid inside. And so now I get to really feel like, oh yeah, this thing's coming. I love this. Let's go. Or, something's not feeling aligned for this. So I'm just gonna pass, but thank you. That skill set, when I talk about life changing, that has changed my life in a way that I'm not even sure how words could describe it. Because again, your choices create your reality, create your results. So just wanted to share that part too. But I think that goes into your question of like what's being let go of and what I'm stepping into. So what I'm letting go of right now currently is old patterning, old ways of doing things. Because the thing is, going back to, so everything I'm sharing is really, really beautiful, and it's all channeled in divine truth and in how I choose to live my life. But I'm still, like I said, I'm still human. I still have patterning, I still have trauma, I still have stuff, right? So there's levels and layers to this. This is why I always say this work is a lifestyle, it's not going anywhere. And for me, when I finally started accepting it as a lifestyle, my life actually became a lot more fun versus fighting it like, oh, another layer, still more trauma, still whatever. It's like, yeah, sis, you're a human and that's what you signed up for to be here. So it's a new layer of letting go of some patterning that I noticed was still present over the last couple years. And so I've been kind of in a cleansing of that in the last little bit of like, and there's been emotion. It's almost like sometimes when this happens, it can feel like a death. You get really emotional. So there's been a lot of tears, there's been a lot of needing to rest. And so, but to the point of everything I'm sharing, because of the work that I've done, I've been able to like look at it and be like, oh, that's what's happening. This is what I need. I need rest. I need to slow down. I need to pause some things. I need to like, I'm constantly just like, what's the most honoring thing for me? And then I do that. So that's what I'm letting go of, some old patterning. What's happening as I surrender to this process and I start to let go, and there's a limbo in the middle of that sometimes. And this is why people sometimes don't want to do this because it's uncomfortable. But again, the more you learn how to connect to yourself, the more the limbo becomes more comfortable because you just trust. You might not know, but there's an inner trust that, like, I know I'm being held. I know I'm being guided. I always come out on the other side, right? And so I'm starting to kind of tap in a little, and it'll start to continue to happen over the next month or so of what the new version is, a new version of me, a new version of who I work with, of who I relation with, all those types of things, like how I see the world, how I show up in the world. And it has actually interesting a lot to do with what we spoke about today, a new level of peace within, of choosing peace, less of over efforting, less of trying to solve, less of trying to fix, and more flow, more peace, more surrender, easier. The simpler plan, the easier plan, because oftentimes it's the mind that complicates it and thinks we have to have this to-do list because it just needs to go, it needs to have problems to solve, when it's like most of the problems aren't even real problems. So it's this place of like less is more, more flow, more leaning back, more of that. What's also dropping in is like this queen energy of like, the queen energy allows more receiving. It's like, yes, I set the things in motion, I do what I need to do, but I do it from an inspired place. And then I sit back and I allow myself to be, which can be uncomfortable, but that's the work we're talking about. When you are willing to do that, you start to connect, and then you just allow receiving to happen, which means things get to just show up with more ease and flow versus the grabbing, the trying. So that's currently what's happening for me. And it's actually a really, really beautiful thing. I feel really grateful right now.
Yeah, I love that. And having that queen energy and knowing what you're outsourcing in terms of what's your remit, but also understanding that you're responsible for your realm and your who what it is that you are in charge of. And then you're able to have people who are experts in their space that you can reach out to and connect, but and because we don't know everything, right? That's the thing, we can't go alone, but we are responsible for ourselves, and that is, we are a queen of ourselves. I love that.
Feels again.
Oh, there we go. More divine truths coming
Yeah.
your way. Oh, Randy, I could talk about this for so long because I really do love the connection with understanding just how important and how liberating it is to take personal responsibility. And that's what we're talking about here ultimately, even though, again, just saying responsibility, people don't necessarily like that word. But when you do, you then take ownership of everything. And that is it.
Yeah, that's a big part of everything I said. It's a part of the process. It might feel scary at first or uncomfortable, but there's actually something, again, so liberating about it. Like, what if you could just be honest? It's like, yeah, that's where I was scared, or that's where I messed up, and I'm sorry, or this is what I'm working on. It's vulnerable. And I know the mind or society has said vulnerability is weak, but I believe it to be the complete opposite. I think it's the most powerful act that we can do. And it's extremely liberating. And it is the path to everything we're speaking about here, to your own inner freedom.
Yeah. It's about facing the comfortable lies versus the uncomfortable truths,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
That we have been ignoring and that we have been comfortable in telling ourselves instead of facing up what is actually the truth. So yeah, my goodness. Randi, I'm sure the listener would love to reach out and connect. We'll put the links into the show notes, but direct them to where is best first, please.
Yeah, so everything across the board is my name. So it's Randi Halaway, RandiHalaway. My website's randyhalaway.com. My Instagram is Randi Halaway. I have a beautiful membership that anyone who wants to kind of just dabble and start in this work, you can join for $1. Or if you just want to reach out to me, if you have a question or you want to talk about working deeper, you can reach out to me on my website or on Instagram.
Amazing. Well, all those links are in the show notes. So please do reach out and connect with Randi because why wouldn't you? My goodness. Right? Look at how much joy and truth and honesty and magic there is to be found in this abundant connection that is coming your way. So lots of fun. My goodness. Open your heart and create more space and breathe. Yes, good reminder. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
As you were saying all of that, I could feel my shoulders dropping and my breath changing. I was like, goodness, you do become tense and you don't realize that you're holding that all in. So again, thank you. Randi, how would you like to close out today's Focus on Why?
I would say that as a reminder that you are powerful beyond measure. And if there's something going on in your life that makes you feel like you are blocked or stuck or in a corner, there's no way out, that you don't have choice, it's simply because you temporarily forgot who you were and how powerful you are. The good news is that it's your power and you can take it back literally whenever you want. And it can be as simple as a snap like this. It's like, oh my gosh, I gave away my power. My mind's convincing me to be a victim. My mind's convincing me I have no choice. Take a deep breath. It's like, actually, maybe I am powerful, which means I'm the creator of my own destiny. And if I'm experiencing something I don't like, I can change it. And that might sound really simple, but it is that simple. From the divine's perspective, this is all very simple. It's the ego that complicates it. So it's just a gentle reminder that you're powerful. And if for some reason you temporarily forget, it's your power. You can take it back whenever you want, even with one breath, with one affirmation, I am powerful. It's back. Now you might have to do that 1,000 more times. That's the practice, but it's a worthy practice.
That's a wrap for today, but the journey doesn't end here. Share your takeaways, leave a review, or post your insights. Your voice helps others discover the value of these stories. Want to dive deeper into purpose? Check the show notes for ways to work with me. Get a copy of my book or to sign up for Friday Focus, my weekly newsletter packed with clarity and inspiration. Have a purpose, have a plan, focus on why.